And we are live. What's up, guys, and welcome to the second episode back of 2019 to CM Radio. This is my weekly podcast that I release every Friday on SoundCloud and Saturday on YouTube. Friday on SoundCloud, obviously, is the audio file, so if you don't want to use your mobile data, or a lot of it, or you're watching this in the car, listening to this in the car, you want to, Friday, 5 p.m, always watch it. Otherwise, it's released on YouTube every Saturday at 6 p.m. if you want to watch the video format. Now, if you are watching this on YouTube, this could go one of two ways, because I'm recording with my mini DSLR mirrorless camera, whatever it is, rather than my phone to increase the quality, but I have no idea what the file capacity is like. I've got a 32 gigabyte memory card in there, so who knows. If it's worked and it's recorded the whole entire thing, then hey to your faces. If not, enjoy the thumbnail for this video. So as you can tell by the title, today we're going to be talking about dieting, and this is for two reasons. One is because it's the new year, and one of the most common resolutions that you'll find for the new year is I want to lose weight, and that requires you to go on a diet. Well, we'll talk more about that later on, because it doesn't. And secondly, I'm dieting for my second bodybuilding show. So I've done this once before. I've dieted a load of times. I've got to a lean physique. I've had a lean physique. So I have some advice, I have some tips on how to actually diet. And not only that, there's a lot of misinformation around dieting and what weight loss and losing weight and body recomposition and toning and all this bollocks. There's a lot of misinformation about it. So this podcast is going to clear it all up. We're going to go over some misconceptions. We're going to give you some tips on how to diet. We're going to talk about different types of dieting, and we're going to talk about actually what a diet is. So to start it off, I just want to talk about why people actually want to diet, okay? Why they want to go on a diet. Now, typically this is to lose weight through someone being obese or overweight, or medical issues, or maybe they just want to clean up their overall eating habits. Maybe you've got some bad eating habits, and going on a diet will help. If you don't know, I'm using diet in quotation marks. Again, we'll get on that later on. Now, when it comes to dieting, people often assume you need to be eating healthier foods. Well, I say healthier food. Yes, it helps. People assume you need to be eating chicken, rice, broccoli, salads, cutting out sugars, cutting out carbs, cutting out chocolates, basically cutting out everything you like. And that's not the case. So when it comes to dieting and weight loss, because that's mainly what we're going to be focused on today, how do you actually lose weight? Because people assume you eat the right foods, or if you solely eat healthy, it promotes weight loss, and it doesn't. Weight loss happens through energy expenditure. You've probably heard this a million times before. Calories in versus calories out. If you're expending more calories than you're consuming per day, fantastic. You are in a weight loss phase. Your body is in a catabolic state, which just means it's in a state of breakdown. Now, what this does is it requires your body to use fat cells as an energy source. Now, this can go one of two ways. If you want to put yourself in a caloric deficit, otherwise known as eating or consuming less calories than you're expending. So if anyone ever uses that term to you, caloric deficit, it's just talking about energy expenditure and what we've just spoke about. Being more active and eating less than you are actually putting out. Now, if you want to enter into this phase, you can do it through a restriction of calories, which is a range from anywhere from 250 to 500 calories from your maintenance. Now, if you want to work out your maintenance calories, it goes on a few factors. It goes upon your lifestyle, your activity level, your overall physique itself, height, weight, age, all plays a massive factor. Now, I'm not going to talk about it too much in here, because it's very, very simple. Just go online and type in BMR calculator. BMR just stands for basal metabolic rate, and that's just the amount of calories that your body consumes or needs to consume per day to maintain your current weight based upon your lifestyle. So this changes for every single person, not one person's, just because someone's the same height as you, just because someone's the same age as you, just because you have a fairly similar build to someone, does not mean you should be eating the same amount of calories. I'm fairly active and I'm relatively short. I'm 5'4", but I train 6 times a week. I'm a personal trainer. I work in a gym, so I'm always up. I'm always cleaning, moving heavy weights around. I'm always spotting people. I'm always demonstrating exercises. So my energy expenditure is very high. So I consume just the same amount of calories as what people that are, let's say, average height and don't do any activity do. So it varies person to person. So go online. If you're watching this on YouTube or SoundCloud, I'll leave a link in the description to a BMR calculator that I've used. I don't use it anymore because I do a different method. But again, we'll talk about that later. So I'll leave that in the description so you can work out your BMR. Okay, that's the first point of call. You need to figure out how many calories your body needs specifically to actually function per day to maintain your current weight. Because then what you're going to do is take away 250 to 500 calories less than what that number is. Okay, I hope you're taking notes because you're going to need to throughout all of this podcast, which is good. It means you're learning. So we need to be taking away at least 250 to 500 calories away from that. From our overall daily caloric intake. The reason we stay within this range is anything more, your body can actually go into, not starvation mode, because that is another taboo subject, but it can promote weight gain, because your body will start to store fat because your calories are drastically low. Now, being a personal trainer and being an online coach and working with a load of people, I have like 9 clients at the moment, I see on a weekly basis, and they've all come from absolute bumfuck nowhere. Okay, they've started at the minimal level that you possibly could. They've barely done any exercise. They've never gone on they've never tried to actively lose weight. So this is a first for them. This is new, and they all have the same outcome or the same reaction whenever I give them their calories. Because what I do is I'll set them up on my FitnessPal account. I'll work out their calories based on sort of the induction process that we have. Through like whenever I get a new client, we'll sit down for 20-30 minutes. I'll bring my sheet in. I'll ask them a bunch of details about their life, what do they do for a job, how active they are, how many times they want to be looking to come to the gym, how many times they train, and everything like that. And then going from there, I'll set them up. They're my FitnessPal account. Now, when I do this and I give them the calories, and I remember it's happened with one of my most recent ones, 22, 23-year-old, 24. He's about the same age or older than me. He's either 1 year younger, 1 year older, or the same age. I'm not entirely sure. He's like 6'7". He's training 4 times a week. He works at university, so he's always standing. He's got long days, 7 in the morning till after he goes to the gym, 9 at night. So you're talking about like 12, 13, maybe 14-hour days. I gave him his calories, which we started off about 2,500, okay? For someone his height, his weight, his activity level, that's a reasonable amount. Now, he was very persistent on not consuming this amount, and whenever because I make them my FitnessPal account up, and then I check in with it like every few days, and then after a week, we'll have a sit down, and I'll review every single day and talk about like how we can improve. Now, the first week, he was consuming like 1,200 calories a day, which is far less than his BMI. His BMI was more than 2,500, but obviously it's an estimation. So what we do is we put them in this number. Sorry, I estimate their number, put them in an estimated caloric deficit, and then you go from there, okay? Because you're not going to know, or no BMR calculator, nothing, no coach, no trainer is going to know 100% what your actual daily calories are, even in a deficit. The best we can do is estimate, okay? And then from there, if you're gaining weight, you restrict them down, you lower them by 50 to 100 calories. If you're losing too much weight, you bring them up by 50 to 100 calories, or you stop doing as much cardio if you're doing any, which again, we'll talk about. Cardio is something we'll talk about later. Now, consuming this drastic low amount of calories can actually, it can cause your body to start to store fat, because if you're eating 1,000 plus calories less than your daily required allowance, even in a deficit, which is what he was doing, your body is not going to know what to do. And this affects your workouts, this affects your moods. We did a workout the other day, and he did 2 rounds of this sort of functional day that we do, and he gassed out. He was fucked, because he only had like a protein shake and a protein bar before he came. So sent him home. It's not good, okay? Not only does it affect your mood, your training, it's not good in terms of eating habits, okay? It creates a bad relationship with food and caloric intake. Now, whatever this number is, again, just try it for a week. If you gained weight over that week, lower them, okay? It's a week. It's nothing. Otherwise, you're going to be reducing them and gaining weight anyway. You may as well take the safest option, increase them to a healthier range, and just drop them from there, okay? So that is how you actually start to begin weight loss, okay? And this is now where dieting comes into play, because people now often assume that certain food groups will make you gain weight, certain food groups will make you lose weight. Now, as we've just established, it's through calories in versus calories out. You could have the cleanest diet ever, okay? You could be eating vegetables, fruits every single day for every single meal. You could be eating lean chicken, lean proteins. You could steer clear from sugars, which, to be fair, fruit has a lot of sugar in it. A lot, okay? This is why when people say to me, oh, that's an unhealthy food, okay? Getting on that topic, okay? If something's an unhealthy food, picture this, right? You've got a tub of ice cream and and let's say a bowl of, what's a high calorie, and a bowl of like melon, say something high in calories, like melons are, okay? So you got some ice cream and you got some melons or whatever, a fruit, okay? What is the difference between these two products, okay? They both have protein, they both have carbs, they both have fats. Okay, it's not a fast food, ice cream isn't, so it's not got trans fats in it. The sugars are the exact same, okay? They're the same strand of sugars. So can you tell me how these two foods are any different? No, you can't, because they've got the exact same, they haven't got the same ingredients in, okay? But ingredients just are what makes the product, okay? Milk is in ice cream, okay? Milk is also in fucking milk and protein powders. So if an ice cream's bad for you, then a protein shake is bad for you, then milk is bad for you. The only reason these are assumed to be unhealthy foods or foods that promote weight gain is because they are very, very calorically dense foods for not a lot of volume. What I mean by that is a tub of, like, let's say Ben & Jerry's ice cream is a little 500 gram or 500 milliliter tub, or a pint tub of ice cream, okay? Contains nearly 1,200 calories. If you're having one of them a day on top of your diet, then yeah, you're going over your energy allowance for that day, meaning you are going to gain weight, okay? So if you eat more calories than you expend, you gain weight. This is also how you promote muscle gain and bulk, but we're not talking about that yet. So yeah, so obviously if you eat something that's going to be 1,200 calories, which doesn't fill you up for that long whatsoever, then of course you're going to be gaining weight because you're going to be in a caloric surplus. Whereas if you had a salad or a chicken salad, which is considered healthy, okay, so vegetables, you've got your, let's say, spinach, very low, almost virtually no calories, lean chicken, which is about 100 calories per chicken breast, maybe 125, then you've got a meal that's going to fill you up for a lot longer for a sixth of the calories, maybe not even that. Okay, I've made salads that are like 150 calories because it's just literally spinach, a little bit of cheese, some like broccoli and shit, just vegetables. And you can make massive volumized meals through doing these sort of things. Which is probably why people are assuming these are bad foods that make you gain weight, because they're not thinking of it at a calorie to calorie level. Okay, they're thinking of it at face value. It's a food. This food makes me gain weight. This food doesn't. And not looking into it, not doing your research about it, again, can promote a very unhealthy way of looking at food, because, as I've said, you can't tell the difference in terms of what makes it bad for you. Genuinely, try and explain why an ice cream is a lot worse for you, or is an unhealthy food or a bad food than a salad. Can you describe what a healthy food is and what an unhealthy food is? The only food that you can do that with is fast food or any takeout, because it's got trans fats in it, because it's got a different strain of sugar in it. So yes, it is going to promote a lot more weight gain. And again, them foods are usually cooked in like really fatty oils as well. So yep, they're going to contain a lot more calories for a lot less food than what a Ben & Jerry's ice cream is. So just keep that in mind, okay? That correlation between food, unhealthy and unhealthy and healthy food, you can't really tell the difference. If you're tracking everything and you're staying within your calories, you can pretty much have whatever you want, okay? I've got some notes down here, so I don't want to talk about stuff before these notes are talked about, because it's all in order. But yeah, so it's that sort of, we need to be looking at it at a calorie to calorie level and not looking at it at a food to food level, okay? No food will make you gain weight, okay? You can gain weight from eating solely fruits, vegetables, and lean proteins. At the end of the day, it contains calories, okay? Fruit contains calories. Vegetables contain calories. Lean proteins contain calories. Just because it's protein doesn't mean it's not going to make you gain weight. If you go over your calorie allowance for the day, you're going to gain weight, regardless of what you're eating. Your body doesn't know that you're eating a fucking salad. It knows that you're consuming calories, and it knows that you went over your calories, so it knows to now store fat if you're not using them. Okay, so now I'm going to touch on some of the notes that I've got down on here just to keep it a little bit more organized. But that's just the sort of basic 101 to dieting and how to get in a diet and some of the misconceptions that go along with it. Okay, so take some notes throughout all of this because you're going to need to. So we talked about why people go on diets. Weight loss. That's why. Weight loss or clean up their diet. One of the two. Or for a medical reason. It's one of them. So let's talk about the word diet because this is something that I have a real big issue with, okay? What is a diet? For me, a diet is a temporary solution to a long-term problem. You think about it. When you go on a diet, you often think of Slimming World, Herbalife, what is there? Shake diets, detox diets. We talk about like keto diets, high protein diets, low fat diets, low carb diets, high carb, high fat, no sugar diets, everything like this. Now, the reason I don't like the term diet is because, again, it is a short-term solution for a long-term problem. What we need to do is create a change in our lifestyle, okay? We need to go from binge eating whatever the fuck we want to something sustainable, and that's what diets aren't. They aren't sustainable. I've known people, I've known ex-clients, I've known friends that have gone on Herbalife, gone on Slimming World, they've lost a shit ton of weight, and then they've gained it all back. Now, the reason I don't like these, most of them, is because they promote a liquid-only diet, okay? And it forces you and it tricks you into consuming drastically less calories than your body requires. As we've just established, that is bad for you in the long term. Now, initially, you will get an acute reaction where, yes, you will drop a shit ton of weight because you're drinking 300, 400 calories a day and you require 2,000. Yeah, of course you're going to drop a shit ton of weight. What you don't understand is a lot of that is going to be water weight. A lot of that is just going to be the sodium and water out of your body. But after a while, after maybe 2 or 3 weeks, a few things will happen. One, you'll rebound drastically hard if you haven't got the right mentality, and you will rebound hard. And I'm talking like a binge weekend will turn into a binge week, and then it'll be I'll start next month, and then it'll be I'll start next month, and then it'll be like I'll start next year, and then you've just messed up your whole entire year. Secondly, what's the second point? What was I talking about? I got really carried away then. So firstly, you are going to rebound really, really hard. Secondly, you are going to, your body, again, what we spoke about earlier, is going to start storing fat because you are going to be in a drastic deficit. Now, we need to get away from these diets. We need to be focusing on something that we can control ourselves and something that is sustainable. Because if you can maintain this, remember, if you want to lose weight and you want to be healthy and you want to be on a diet, it needs to last for the rest of your life. You can't lose weight and then go back to eating the shit you were before and expect to stay the same weight. It doesn't work like that. At the end of the day, it's still calories in versus calories out. You could get to 60 kilo body weight from 69 and you could eat the same stuff you were at 69 kilos. You're not going to stay 60 kilos. You're going to go back up to 69 because your diet's just going to go back to the exact same. So we need to switch. We need to change our lifestyle and our habits. And we can do this through a few things, and that's incorporating foods we like. Again, diets restrict you from a lot of the foods you do like, and they use scare tactics. Oh, don't eat chocolate. Don't eat past 6 o'clock. Bread's bad for you. Don't go carbs. Fat will make you gain fat. That is honestly the dumbest thing I've ever fucking heard any company promote. And it's the macronutrient fats. If you don't know, we have 3 macronutrients. We have protein, carbs, and fats, and you get your micronutrients, which are vitamins and minerals. Now, I saw advertised on Facebook, a company promoting this fucking shake, 2 grams of fat or less. And I even see it in marketing nowadays, like on crisps, like 50% less fat, or on chocolate, 50% reduced fat, and 50% reduced sugar or low sugars. But the macronutrient fat alone will not make you gain weight. A macronutrient, or fat, your macronutrient, is one of the 3, which all contain calories. Yes, it's the highest caloric one, so you can't have a lot of it for the day, but that will not make you gain weight. I love my fat contents. Okay, eggs, cheese, milk, ice cream. It is the shit, and I cannot live without them. Okay, so let's get off that as well, okay, because macronutrients in general will make you gain weight, not just one in specifically. And in terms of marketing, if you ever see something that is 50% reduced fat or reduced fat, chances are it's still going to be high in calories because they're just going to bump the carbs up in replacement of the fat that you've just lost, okay? There are crisps that I know, like Walkers and shit like that the reduced fat 30% reduced fat versions have more calories in them than the normal ones because they just bump it full of carbs to give you that satisfaction still. So when it comes to marketing as well, be a bit smarter with how you're approaching it. Don't be fooled by these advertisements that could just because something is lower in fat means it's better for you. It's not. It really isn't. One of my friends, Dave, mentioned this on a podcast before. I can't remember what food it is, but in our local supermarkets, Tesco's, they have a healthy living range, and there's a certain food that is healthy living, reduced fat, but has more calories and more sugars than the normal version. Figure that one out. Healthy living has more calories than an unhealthy version. Again, what's unhealthy? Define me unhealthy. Unhealthy for me is an unsustainable diet that you can't keep long term. Okay, so we need that change. Okay, so we need to get out of the habit of thinking that certain foods are bad for us. We need to get out of the habit of thinking certain macronutrients are bad for us. We need to get out of this habit of thinking we need to go on a diet. So what you need to do is change your eating habit and change your lifestyle. So how do we do this? Well, first of all, we need to, First of all, like I said, you need to work out your calories, okay? Then you need to start actually having an idea of how much you are consuming, okay? So you can do this via tracking your calories. You can do this via meal prepping, okay? So a good way of actually sticking to your calories on a daily basis if you don't want to weigh out everything, which I don't see why. If you're going to put your food on a counter, there's no difference between putting your food on a counter or putting a scale on the counter and then your food on top of it, okay? We need to understand what you need to understand what you're actually putting into your body. Most people do because they don't really know, they don't understand, and they don't know how much of an impact it genuinely has on them. Okay, so the way that you can get around this, if you don't want to do it straight away, this is a good alternative, is work out your calories for the day, work out what food you want to eat for the day, put it all into MyFitnessPal, it's just in one lump go, and then just eat it throughout the day. So you don't have to weigh out every meal, just weigh out the bulk of your protein. So if you're having 200 grams of protein per day, get 200 grams of protein and just have that for the day. Okay, put it in any meals you want. You could have all of it in one meal or half and half. You could have a big meal of protein, a little meal of protein. Take in all your snacks, take in all your soups, all your veg, rice, everything. Okay, that's a good start. Okay, actually understanding what you're putting into your body. Alternatively, you can write down a food diary. So just everything you eat on a day-to-day basis, write it in a book. Everything that goes into your mouth, whatever it is, liquid, food, write it down. At the end of the week, tally every single day up and then just start to eliminate foods if you're going too far over your calories. Okay, these are good ways of you to do it without actually having to track your macros if you don't want to, which again is a very good way of understanding what you're eating. You don't need to do it every single day. You don't even need to do it forever. At some point, starting off maybe weighing your food 2 times a week is better than weighing it none, and then go to 3, then 4, then 5, then do it every single day, then do it every single day for 2 months, and then you'll start to understand how much you're eating, to the point where I am, and most other people that have been doing it for years, and a few of my friends are. You know how much you know how many calories in a certain food, you know how much calories you can have, and you can sort of eyeball it. Is it 100% accurate? No, but it's a very good tactic to learn what you're putting into your body, learn the calorie value of foods, and actually understand food to a better knowledge than what you do now. Then when you start to understand that, you can manipulate it and put it in put it in your terms and not let your diet dictate you, because don't restrict foods from your diet just because you're on a certain diet. And that's what a lot of them do, and that's why I don't follow a standard diet. I just follow healthy eating, okay? I stay within my calories, I stay within my macros, I make sure I hit my protein per day, I make sure if I go over my calories, I'm doing my cardio, because at the moment, like I said, I'm prepping for a show, which is very important for me to start tracking my macros, which I have done for I started dieting on the 3rd of January, and it's now the 22nd, and I've dropped nearly 4 kilos. I think I started at 68.8, and this morning I weighed in at 65.1, so I'm nearly 4 kilos down. Okay, and I have ice cream, and I'm actually having ice cream tonight at the time of watching this podcast. Me and my brother are going to go see the new Dragon Ball Super movie. We're seeing it today and tomorrow because he booked it in subtitles for today. Clearly didn't read the description of the movie. We're watching it in Japanese with English subtitles, which, to be fair, sounds bad for a lot of you, but considering we watched for 2 or 3 years the whole season, a whole new series of Super in Japanese with English dub or sub, I haven't even watched the dub version yet. I've just watched the subtitled version. Then it's easy to follow along. I never thought it'd be a good skill to have, but it really is. So I'm having a tub of ice cream tonight. So that's actually what I want to talk about next. That's actually my notes next is actually how to stay more consistent. Okay, because consistency is key with any form of diet. You need to be able to do it day to day. Again, it all comes down to sustainability. So how do you stay consistent with a diet? Well, one, you need to not restrict the foods that you like, okay? So again, this means incorporating something called flexible dieting, which is what I follow. Now, basically what flexible dieting is say you have 2,000 calories that you need to eat per day, okay? The idea is, as long as you're hitting your protein intake for the day, and you're staying within those 2,000 calories, so say if your protein intake was 200 grams of protein per day, and you needed 2,000 calories a day, and this promotes weight loss. This is you in a caloric deficit. The idea is you hit that 200 grams of protein and you hit those and you stay within those 2,000 calories. The rest of it can be done or made up from whatever you want. Now, this means you can fit your ice creams, your chocolates, your treat foods, beer, wines, anything in. You just have to understand the caloric value to these foods. And this goes back to volumizing meals and high caloric foods. So as long as 80% of your diet is clean, okay, the rest can come from whatever you want. And this can vary. You can go like 70 to 30 or 60-40. Just be aware that the lower down you do the percentage of healthy eating or whole meal foods or whole grain foods, the more hungry you may likely be. Because again, even though you can get low-calorie ice creams, you can get low-calorie protein bars that taste amazing. These are still very high in comparison to calories to volume of food. Okay, a protein bar from Grenade, the Carb Killer bar, is 215 calories for a little 60-gram bar. I could literally have 150 grams of chicken breast with like 200 grams of veg, some spinach, mixed up with a bit of Philadelphia spread in a frying pan, mixed it all up, and there we go. I've got a salad, which is maybe a massive bowl's worth of food for the exact same amount of calories. So remember, the lower down you go, the likely are you're going to be hungry. So it always varies for me, okay, because you can fit everything in. So some days I'll go 70-30, some days I'll go 100% clean, some days I'll go 80-20. It doesn't really matter as long as it's sustainable for you. So this does mean you can fit stuff that you like in, okay? And this is why I promote flexible dieting a lot. Even though it's got the word diet in it, okay, it's just a tool that you can use to help maintain a good eating habit or a good, healthier lifestyle, okay? So flexible dieting, if you want to know more about that, a good guy to check on it, there's a few guys, Rob Lipsett, Vitruvian Physique, or Igor, I don't know, I can't pronounce his last name. He was the coach for my last prep as well, so you'd think I'd know his last name. Obachensky, that's it, Igor Obachensky. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And Matty Fasaro did a very good video on this. I actually referenced in one of my 5 Friday videos from years back, which is good. I'll put that in the link in the description as well. So if you want to go watch that video, and specifically, it illustrates it to a very basic and understandable point for anyone that is new to it. So be sure to check that out because it's a very handy concept to know. The second one is intermittent fasting. Now, this is something that I also follow. And again, everything I'm giving you here are tools and tips that you can use alongside a good and healthy and established balanced diet. Again, fucking quotes. To help, I don't want to say maintain, just help sustain it. And I'm talking a lot about sustainability because that's what it's about, okay? So intermittent fasting. What is it? Basically, it's eating your calories, your daily calories, within a short eating window. Now, this eating window can be 12, 8, 4, 6, 9, 10 hours, however long. So I follow an 8-hour window. So I'll have my first meal at 12 p.m. in the afternoon, and I'll have my last meal at 8 p.m. And then I will not eat outside of those eating windows. I will drink water. I'll have sugar-free drinks like I've got right here, and I've actually got one over here. If you can't see, this is just a low-calorie carbonated flavoured water from Tesco's. It's very good. 0 calories or barely any calories. I'll have them outside this time frame, this eating window, just because they're just my caffeine appetite suppressants. Keep me going on until I hit that 12 o'clock mark. And I've just seen my camera has literally just died. Damn it. And I've realised, oh damn, right, I've realised as well, I haven't done my clap at the beginning of this video, so it's going to be very hard to sync the audio and visual up. But I don't think I can use it now because the camera's gone off. So we know next time not to use this camera. I think it's got like a 20-minute or 30-minute window that you can do. So, oh god, this is a mess. It's the second podcast back. We're getting there. We're gonna ace this. Don't worry. So intermittent fasting is a very good tool because it allows you to have a lot more high calorie foods. Okay. No, it doesn't. It requires you can have high-calorie foods. It allows you to have higher calorie meals. Okay, what that means is bigger volume meals. So, well, if you think about it like this, if you wake up and you start eating from 8 a.m. in the afternoon, morning, 8 in the morning, and you eat all the way up until, let's say, 8 in the afternoon, say 8 in the evening, that's a 12-hour eating window. Whereas you can take that down to an 8-hour, and you have to fit 2,500 calories in 8 hours. That allows you to have one or two really big meals, like 1,000 calorie meals, and then just snacks in between it. And this is something that I often do, is I will start my day at 12 p.m. with a very light meal, okay? So I'll have something like a low-calorie soup. I'll have a salad that I'll make myself. Obviously, I'll season it to make it taste better. I'll have high-protein meals and restrict the carbs and fats really low because I like to save them towards the evening. And then I'll snack throughout the day on sort of like rice cakes. I haven't got any here. I can't even show you anyway. But I'll snack throughout the day on like rice cakes, on like very low-calorie toast, protein bars, and then I'll save a bulk of my calories, like let's say 700-800 calories until the evening. So before I go to bed, I can have like a very high calorie meal. So I can have like a tub of ice cream with like some like bacon sandwiches or something like that. I can have like chocolate bar. I can have literally anything. I can have like a massive bowl of pasta. I can have like a lasagna. I can have like a cake. I can have a little bit of a cheesecake. Everything's good in moderation, but it allows me to sort of just structure my eating around that. And that's another thing that I do as well, is just push off a lot of my carbs and fats to the evening. Because if you have them all within your morning, you've then got nothing to look forward to in the evening. And that, again, can play a massive, have a massive impact on your mindset and your mentality. So I always like to treat myself, put a treat at the end of the night, like I've done today. I think I've had one meal, which was just a massive salad burrito bowl with 2 slices of toast with 2 eggs on it and a slice of cheese. It was incredible. I've just stuck to these low-calorie waters. I've had a Monster. I've been to the gym as well. I've got like 900 calories remaining, and I have to stop eating my food. At the time I'm recording this podcast, it is nearly 7 o'clock, and I have to stop eating my food at 8, so I've got an hour. So after I finish this podcast, I'm going to have a bowl of soup, something else, and then buy a tub of ice cream while I go watch this movie. So that's another good way of rewarding yourself, of treating yourself, is saving a lot of your calories up until the evening. And this is also called carb backloading, okay? Just so you know, this isn't part of intermittent fasting anymore. This is like mixing them both within each other. And this is what I like about all these tools. They can integrate well with each other. You can do flexible dieting, so you can implement carb backloading into intermittent fasting, okay? They all work one in the same with each other and help, obviously, keep you sustainable. So carb backloading, again, it's just saving a lot of your carbs and fats for the evening time, so you can treat yourself. You have something to look forward to. It's almost like spending all your money at the beginning of the day, but you know you're going to the cinema later, and you have barely enough money to get the ticket, but you don't have any money for food or the drinks, okay? The experience just seems a bit more dampened because of that enjoyment factor. So I like to think of my food in the same way. If I save a lot of my carbs and fats, the nicer foods for the evening, throughout the day I have something to look forward to, keeps a spring in my step, it keeps me looking forward to something, and then I'll have it, and then I'll devour just a bunch of shit. It's actually incredible. It's a good method of doing it. But again, if you don't understand any of these terms, or you've not got a lot of time to rewatch this podcast or re-listen to it, then you just YouTube these terms. There's a shit ton of videos that you can look for that will explain what these actually are. What's the next point I got down? Understand you will fail. Yeah, understand that you are going to fail, okay? You're not going to stay consistent every single day with your diet or your healthy eating. There are going to be days where you will slip up. I remember last prep for my show, the last month, once a week, I would binge out on something. And for a competition, it's not really good. But if you're just doing this to live a healthier lifestyle, every now and then, every once in a while, again, moderation, you can have a slip up. You can go out for brunch. You can eat shitty foods all day. Just understand when you wake up the next morning, it's in the past. Okay, you can't do anything about it. Control what you can control, because we can't control what happened yesterday. Okay, so understand you failed, embrace it, accept it, and learn from it. Okay, why did you fuck up today? Was it work? Did you not prep your food? Were you stressed? Did you have an awful gym session? Did you do a lot of cardio? Do you need to prep more next time? Just understand that it's normal. Okay, everyone fails. Also, slow and steady wins the race, okay? When it comes to dieting or weight loss, you have to understand that it's a long-term process, not short-term. Now, you see these 12-week or 3-month transformations. They can happen, but these are usually people starting from a let's say, moderate body fat percentage, like 16, 17, up to 19% body fat percentage, and they're getting down to 10. That's realistic in 12 weeks. That's realistic in 3 months. What isn't realistic is going from 100 kilo to 40 kilo in 3 months. You have to understand that it's going to take a while, okay? And this all comes down to, getting new clients for me, for example, because the first week or two, the training program, the training itself, the nutrition is going to be very hard to get on point, okay? And it's going to be a learning curve for everyone. And you need to understand that you have to get over that initial phase. It's the same thing with New Year's resolutions as well. Everyone thinks they're going to the year to do their New Year's resolutions, and they don't understand that it takes a while to actually... The first 2 weeks is just cleaning up your shit. That's it, with anything. If you're starting anything. Guy did a video about this the other day, which is actually what prompted me to write this down. There's a guy called Matthew Hussey. He's a woman's dating coach, which I watched one of his videos about, I watched one of his documentaries about traveling the world to do his seminars. He's a really good entrepreneur. And then I found out he was a female dating coach, and I've just been watching him for his way of life is just incredible. He's in terms of his attitude, it's just such an attractive vibe that you get from him. So I love watching his videos every Sunday. But this is one that he talked about this Sunday, is not everything's going to go to plan. Not everything happens straight away. So understand that when you're on a diet, the first 2 weeks are just going to be you sorting your shit out. It's going to be you getting into a healthy eating pattern, breaking your bad habits, which again may take a few months. You may go a few days eating clean and then have a crappy day, and then go a few more days eating clean, then have a less crappy day, and then go a few weeks eating clean, and then have a very minute crappy day, and it just builds like that. You need to understand that you'll fuck up, accept it, just continue, learn from it, and just understand that it's going to take a while, okay? It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen within the first week. You're not going to make insane progress after a month. Realize that, okay? Yeah, right, sorry, I thought I had a brain fart then. I just got a phone call from my brother, and I was like, shit, is this movie starting at 7 o'clock? And I realised it's 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Oh yeah, we're seeing the dub version tomorrow night. Lastly, the last thing that I want to talk about is, just give you some tips on actually how to, if you're on a diet, what you can do and what to expect. So, first of all, like I said, low-calorie drinks are going to be amazing to keep your appetite down. They're what I usually use. So I'll wake up around 4 every morning, train 5 till 7, and from 7 till 12 I don't eat. I usually down 1.5 liters of water while I'm training. I'll then sip on water throughout the day. I'll then have a Monster. I'll then have a bottle, this 1.5 liters of flavoured water. I'll keep it going like that. And that'll get me to my 12-hour eating window. Flexible dieting, again, very good tool. Carb backloading, low-calorie foods. Volumizing your meals is going to be a key one as well. Because at the end of the day, the way to not feel hungry is just to... You need to fill your stomach up, essentially. So if you can get that, if you can get a lot of food, high volume of food for a low amount of calories, that means you're going to be full for a lot longer on less calories, so you can eat more throughout the day. Okay, so maybe having some, I've bought some spinach from my local Tesco's, which is 50p for a 500 gram bag, and I'll just literally shove 250 grams in a meal. It just bulks out so much. Seasonings make everything taste nice, so make sure you're seasoning your food. You can make healthier versions of every type of food that you can imagine just through buying the leaner versions of everything. There's no different from red meat to white meat. I thought about that because I'm thinking about homemade low-calorie burgers that you can make with 5% lean steak. But that's about it. That's about it. All I've got for this podcast. It's been a bit unstructured. I'm trying my best. This is only my second podcast back in about 5 months. So, fucking get out of my face. Sorry. So it's gonna again. I'll just take this advice. It's gonna take a while, but I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I have no idea how long it ran on for. I hope you enjoyed it just being me. Completely forgot to mention that today it's just me. I do want to try and get someone on every single episode because I find it hard talking to myself about these points. Because sometimes I'll forget, and it's easier to have someone there to pick up the slack when you have a brain fart, and they can just continue the conversation. I think it's good to bounce off other people and get their opinion, get their ideas, because you never know. They could teach you something you didn't know, and you could talk about something that you didn't know you were going to talk about just through the spark of an idea. Or the spark of a conversation. So that's what I'm going to try and do. I have no idea what the podcast is going to be for next week. It's going to get planned this Saturday. And I'm definitely having someone else on for it. So, guys, hope you enjoyed this week's podcast or this week's episode of CM Radio. I've had a blast talking to you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.